Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to all the participants, and we are now going to start our next sessions with regards to e-invoicing. This is a question answers sessions. In this sessions, we have requested our members to share with us the questions, practical questions they have in mind. They want to take the answers. So we have some questions here. So in these sessions, we will answer. Our expert will answer all these questions, and time to time we will get your feedbacks, your more questions, and we will continue this question answer sessions in futures continuously, so that you can get the full grip on investing in UAE. So Mr. Kamran is here. Mr. Kamran, welcome to our sessions, and the mic is over to you. Please start this session.
Okay, thank you very much, Mama Shakeel, for inviting me for this Q&A session. So I think we can start the session. So if you move on to the next session, next slide. Okay, the first very most important question is our buyer has crossed the 50 million threshold, but we, the seller, have not. Can the buyer force us to issue invoice from the January 2027? So as per the e-invoicing law, only the seller who has exceeded the 50 million sales, they are required to appoint an ASP by 30th of October 2026, and they need to issue the first e-invoice from 1st January 2027. So as of now, there is no there's an explanation in the e-invoicing regarding the purchase side. As of now, the whole discussion and whole the point is from the sales side. So in this case, the answer is legally no. The mandate is based on the seller's own annual revenue, not the buyer. So a seller which is below 50 million fall in phase two, okay, regardless of the buyer size. So commercially, yeah, there's one important. For example, if you are dealing like the large buyers make contractual requests invoicing from the supplier to streamline their own AP process. So maybe if we are dealing with an MNC, for example, and they are required to register in the phase one and they have already done it, they might request you to also get in the invoicing the phase one. Also, your revenue is less than 50 million and you are not legally liable to register in the phase one, but they might require it. So this is mainly you can say your terms and conditions with your customers, but for legally is they cannot force you, they cannot push you to register for the phase one. If your revenue is less than 50 million, you can opt for the phase two registration, which is 31st of March 2027 for the appointment of ASP, and the first invoicing to be issued in phase one, phase two is 1st July 2027. So one thing is maybe you can opt early. This timeline is mandatory. We cannot. This the deadlines. Okay, so we can go beyond this timeline for the invoicing issuance and also for the ASP appointment. But early adoption is an option for anyone. For example, if you are in phase two, you can opt for to appoint an ASP by this October 30, and you can also opt to issue first invoice on 1st January. So the timeline as mandatory. These are the last date by which we have to appoint an ASP and by which we have to issue the first e-invoice. But the early adoption is an option. It's totally your management decision. So if you move to the second question.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kamal. If somebody having the questions with this regard these questions, so you can do
Yeah,
that.
please. Anyone have question, you can unmic yourself and ask the question. If you need any further clarification or any sub question for this one, so you can take it now.
Okay. So the next one.
Is it mandatory to host our billing or ERP system or the ASP server locally in UAE, GCC, or it can be hosted in India? Okay, there are two things for this question. One is your local ERP that you are using. That could be your QuickBook, Tally, Oracle, SAP, Zoho, or could be anything. Second is the ASP. So as per the e-invoicing law and as per the condition to become an ASP, one of the mandatory conditions by Ministry of Finance is your complete data center, your hosting, your server for ASP has to be in UAE, and also the data processing will be done in UAE. So for all the ASPs to whom you will appoint or you will deal, their complete data center, including the processing, the server, everything, the complete infrastructure will be has to be in UAE. And Ministry of Finance, once they verify this condition, only then they are approving the ASP, pre-approving the ASP, and then the final approving the ASP. For the ASP, it is a mandatory condition. Their server, the infrastructure, the data center cannot be outside UAE. Okay, but when come to your ERP or your billing system or your point of sale system, it can be hosted anywhere. There's no restriction in the e-invoicing law as of now. For example, you have let's say you have a company in UAE and you also have subsidiary company in India, for example, or maybe in Egypt or Pakistan, and you are using their server. So one company you have their server physically in India or Pakistan and or maybe let's say in Egypt or anywhere, and you are accessing them from the UAE. So it is allowed. So in invoicing law, there is no condition, there is no restriction on your ERP, on the client ERP, on the company ERP who is issuing the e-invoicing. The only mandatory condition is for the ASP that their server, their data center, everything has to be in UAE, and also the data processing will be done in UAE. And secondly, their backup. One is the data processing. Like you will when you will appoint an ASP, you'll be using this server for the processing. So this server plus the backup server has to be both should be in UAE. It cannot be outside UAE. So the answer is for ASP, yes, it cannot go outside UAE, and for the companies, whichever the ERP you are using, whether you're using your on-premise ERP, your locally hosted, or you are using cloud ERP, as of now, there is no restriction from Minister of Finance and FTA, so you can host your ERP anywhere in the world. There is no restriction as of now.
You can say like that because I'm interested. I'm a customer. I'm not a ASP. So my server should be in Pakistan or India. I'm sitting here. This is workable.
Yes, correct. So for the company, for the customers, their server, their ERP, their hosting system, their billing system, their product can anywhere in the world. There is no restriction for the companies.
It's a very good relaxation. Okay, thank you very much. So we can move to other question or somebody having the questions here.
Hey, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. I just have a question with regards to the retention period. Basically, in the e-invoicing guide for this data storage, what we see is for real estate, it is 7 years only. But when we review the tax procedure law, right? In that, they clearly mention that data should be retained for 15 years. So there is bit confusion whether we have to follow for real estate 15 years or 7 years.
Okay, very good question. Okay, every legislation has its own requirement for the for the storage of the data, right? So for the e-invoicing, yes, this is the same years, and for your real estate for the tax procedure, it has to be implemented for the 15 years. So, in my view, my suggestion is you save your data for the longest period of time because
Okay.
your invoice does not violate or does not supersede the law of tax procedures. So they all laws or regulation have their own requirement for the data storage. Okay, so we have to follow separately. So the highest one as of now is the tax procedures. So I would say let's keep the data till that time. But one thing keep in mind: one law or one rule does not supersede the documentation requirement of another law. For example, VAT has different timeline, e-invoicing has different timeline, tax procedures has a different timeline for the data storage. So we have to follow separately each one. Hope I answered the question. Is clear to you or any further question is there?
No, no, no. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So we move to the next question.
Any other question on for this question? Okay, the third one. Can we send a summary or batch of invoices to the ASP for processing instead of transferring each unit in the invoice individually? Okay. ASP giving three types of options. Almost all ASP. We are working with five ASP. So everyone is giving three type of option. One is just like you're using whatever your ERP, you're manually entering the data in your ERP. Similarly, ASP is also giving their portal access. You can log in their portal. You can manually create the sale invoice just like you are getting a sale invoice in your local ERP. One option is manual entering of sales invoice in just in the portal ASP portals. Second one is they're giving the Excel upload options, so they can send you a specific template of Excel as per their format. You can fill out the data and you can upload the data into their portal. Second option. Third one is direct ERP to ESP portal integration. So in this one is your ERP will be directly integrated from the database level with the ASP portal. So how it will work? For example, you are using a QuickBook or Tally or any ERP. You can process or enter your sales, and then it will automatically be sent to the ASP portal through integration. Okay. Now the question is, for example, if you have let's say 100 invoices, okay, so you send the 100 invoices. So one thing we need to keep in mind that in invoicing there's one addition field called UUID. UUID means Universal Unique ID, and that ID will be generated by the ASP. So each invoice, just like when say the IBAN number is unique across the globe. So one IBAN number cannot be the same for anyone in the world. So similarly, the universal unique ID, it will be generated by the ASP. It will not be generated from your local ERP or your Excel or the manual entry. It will be generated only by the ASP. So if you're sending a summarized data upload, the ASP will process each invoice separately, and they will give us unique universal ID for each invoice separately. So it has to be like, you can send it by a summary, but the processing from ASP to the FTA portal will be for each unit separately. You can upload the summarize, that can be as per your terms and condition and upload option with your ASP. But the ASP is required to process each invoice separately. They cannot send us summarized invoices in to the FT and to the C2, which your customer ASP. So they are required to send each unit separately, and first before sending to the FT and to your customer ASP, give the unique ID, unique universal ID for each invoice. So it will be tracking across the globe. There's one question, I guess, in the chat. If you just mm,
You can directly ask a question
send.
rather than sending in the chat. Then we read the question. It is a waste of time. If you have any question, you can open your mic and you can ask a question directly.
I think the question is for this qualifying person regarding this for the performer invoicing and for this okay. So e-invoicing is for the tax invoices, because normally you are also getting the performer invoice if you want to get some advance. So you are asking you are asking a performer invoice, and you are issuing you're giving the advance on the basis of the performance. Performer invoice is not a tax invoice, so you have to be very clear. Tax, we are the e-invoicing is present a tax invoice. So for if you are raising an invoice, only that will be that the tax invoice will be replaced by the invoice, not the performance invoice. Okay, so if you go to question before, our revenue is 45, 40, 48 million today, but may cross 50 million during 2026, which phase we are in, and which year's revenue does. Okay, so Ministry of Finance has and Ministry of Finance and FTA has given the guideline that your last completed financial statement, it could be audited, it could be unaudited. So as the revenue of 50 million is as per your last completed financial statement. And there's also one confusion. People are thinking, for example, if you're dealing in B2B, B2G, and B2C transactions, for example, and let's say your revenue is total 51 million, and out of 51 million, 40 million is B2B and 11 million is B2C. So total is 51 million. B2B and B2G total is, let's say, 40 million, and B2C is 11 million. So some people are saying, no, we are B2B and B2G revenue is less than 50 million, we are not required. So it is this clear clarification from FT that the 50 million threshold apply not on your B2B or B2G. It is the revenue as per your last completed audit financial statement or unaudited financial statement. Okay. The revenue includes all types of revenue streams: B2B, B2G, B2C, exempt supplies, out of scope, zero rated. Is not only for the 5%. The complete revenue which is appearing in your financial statement will be looked at as a benchmark for your qualification in phase one or phase two. So if you are, for example, in this case, the 50 million is the total revenue, so they fall in phase one. But the invoices they issue for e-invoicing will be for the 40 million only, which is B2B and B2G. But as of now, e-invoicing is not applicable for B2C invoices. Okay, so the 50 million is as per the whole revenue, and it's not on the 26, it is the last completed financial statement.
We can say that if your closing is 30 June 2026, then you have to this say the sale value is 50 million plus, then you
Exactly.
have to apply it. If your closing is
Correct.
31st December 2025, then you have to
Yeah.
follow that audited financial statements. So it depends on your accounting years, and it is the value of your revenue. You will not bifurcate your revenue in B2C or B2B. So it's very simple. Just simply you have to check your revenue. What is your revenue? It's a very good sign. Okay. Very good answers, Mr. Kamran. So, anybody having this question with this regard, and or can move forward? Okay, Mr. Kamran, please.
We are currently email PDF message from our ERP tally Zoho. Say, okay. So now, okay, you can send this. Okay, now currently everyone is sending the PDF file from their local ERP and send to the customer as a tax invoice. Going forward, after 1st of January, if you're in phase one, you can continue. The tax authority doesn't stop it, but the invoicing has to be issued. Okay, and there clearly mention. Okay, the format which the prescribed format for the invoicing is XML. It's not a PDF. It's not an Excel. It's not a Word. It's not a JPG file. XML format is a machine readable format, okay, in which the data is transmitted in a different way, not like the ways we see on our paper. Okay, it's a machine readable format, and they have specific format that your IT team can guide you, like how the XML format look like. But you can continue sending your PDF file, which is okay, but that doesn't qualify as an invoice, because as per the law, e-invoice format is only XML format, which is a machine readable format, and that will be transmitted from your ERP to the ASP. Or if you have terms with your ASP that you will Excel upload your invoices, then ASP is responsible to convert your Excel template into the XML format. So all ASP, they are responsible to transfer the data from your local source system or from the Excel file or from the manual entry on the portal into XML format, and only XML format data will be transmitted to FTA and your customer ASP. Your ASP cannot send a PDF file or a Word or an Excel file to FTA or to your customer ASP. They have to send on XML format to the FTA and the customer ASP. But you can, if the customer want a PDF file, you can continue. This FTA and the Minister of Finance is not stopping you to carry on this practice, but the e-invoicing has to be in XML format. It cannot be a PDF file. It cannot be a Word or Excel or picture. It cannot be.
Simply, I can say that my current work, there is no reduction in my current work. What I'm doing today, I have to continue that work. I have to print my invoice. I have to send my invoice to my customers. Everything remain the same. Yes, I can say that is additional work we have to do to ASP. Your continued job, you have to start it. You will not change your current scenario. It will be the same. Is it like that?
So, practically speaking, yes, you are right. Your current work will keep on doing as it is what you are doing with the customers. On top of it, you have to generate an invoice in XML format
Exactly.
for FTA and there's one thing that can help you. If you go for an ERP integration option, that will be one-time activity. Your IT team, or we can do the integration with the ERP to the ASP portal. It's a one-time activity. Once this all testing is done, then as soon as you process your invoice in your ERP, it automatically convert your invoice into XML format and send to the ASP. So
Yes,
if
I
in
I,
this,
I heard, Mr. Kamran, that some ASPs may be working remotely, maybe from Malaysia, from India, from Pakistan. So
yeah,
if you come towards you, then definitely you will come in my office, and you will be very much familiar with my system and with my staffs. So definitely it is a good opportunity for us that we can come to you and give you
sure,
the option to adopt these integrations from your team.
yeah. Okay, one thing. Okay, one more thing. I will explain you. As per invoicing, we have to issue the invoice within 14 days of our system generated invoice. For example, I'm using Zoho. So today I generated one invoice, which is let's say to 30th of June. So within 14 days, just 27th of June, I have to issue invoice. Okay, and if we are using an Excel upload, or you are directly entering the invoices in the ASP portal, it will double your work. First, you have to enter the invoice in your ERP. Then you have to if you are going for the manual option, then again you have to manually enter the invoice in the ASP portal. If you are using Excel upload option, then you have to download your data from your ERP after entering all your invoices on a daily basis, because this 14 days is not the end of the month. So, for example, is 40th from the issuance of your invoice. So, for example, today every company is issuing invoice on a daily basis. So, all the invoice which is issued on 1st of June, for example, they have to issue the invoice on 14th of June. With the 2nd of June invoice, they have entered invoice in the year on 2nd of June. They have to issue invoice by 15th of June. So your Excel upload will be daily base. It's not a one-time activity that after month end, the 14th of the next month I will upload the invoice. It's not like this, because it's not the 14 days is not the end of the month. It is from the issuance of your invoice in your ERP. So this Excel upload will be a very difficult to manage, and obviously there could be risk of errors by getting downloading data from ERP and then converting into the ESP format and uploading it. So in this case, if you do an integration with your ERP with the SP portal, so it is one time testing will be there. Once the testing is done, this integration will keep working automatically. So it is a one-time job. They have to spend time on the integration, ensure everything is working fine. Once this is done, the system will carry on itself. You don't need to worry about the invoicing. So you just need to focus your own work, like the integration team and the integration method will carry your invoice from ERP to the SP portal. Especially if you have thousands of invoices on a month, let's say if specific businesses have more very large number of invoices, it will be difficult for them to manage the Excel flow. So for
Okay.
them, I think the integration is a good option.
Thank you very much. We have short time, so we start with
Okay,
the
so
next questions. We have to complete all the questions in this session. So
oh,
next question is, what are the penalties if we miss the ASP deadlines or fail to issue an invoice? And it is true there is no penalties during the voluntary period. Please.
okay, so for the non-appointment of ASP by the due date is 5,000 per month. Okay, so
Okay.
for example, you are in phase one, so the timeline for appointment of ASP is 30th of October. If you don't appoint your ASP, so in the November you will get a fine of 5,000 dirham per month.
Fine.
This is for the appointment of ASP. For the non-appointment of the ASP, there is also separate fine for non-issuance of invoice. So for the phase one customer, the timeline is 1st of January. They have to issue the invoice. For example, they are not able to issue the invoice. The fine is 100 dirham per invoice, but it is capped to 5,000 per month. So per month, non-issuance of e-invoicing fine cannot exceed 5,000.
Okay.
But this for the non-appointment of ASP, the fine is 5,000 per month.
Recurring basis. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Any questions regarding the slides? If
And
someone has
also, if we are doing early adoptions, obviously there is no fine.
definitely we have to go for the early options because at the end of the when you reach in October, there's a big pressure on you as well as on the ASPs. So in
Correct.
that period, you will not able to select the right ASP. Maybe the ASPs will become more expensive in October. So we have to complete these procedures as soon as early.
The other question: should company has to pay ASP for any subscription yearly? Or yes, all ASP are charging fees because they are giving you their system. And just like whatever the ERP are using, you'll be paying some cost for using your ERP. So similarly, here we will be using. the ASPs, ERP or ASP portal to get the services, they are charging. And the non-regulated type of charges is there. One is the one-time onboarding fees, because they once you appoint an ASP, they will onboard your entity to their portal. And second is the how much number of transactions, which includes sales and purchase both, will be processed through their system. So ASPs are charging two types of prices. One is the one-time onboarding fee. Second is based on your document. For example, if annually you have, let's say, 5,000 sale and purchase invoice and debit credit note in total, obviously the price will be different. And let's say you are going to process, let's say, 20,000 transactions to the ASP, obviously they will charge slightly higher price. So the price is based on the number of documents annually, how much documents will be processed through ASP portal, and second is the one-time onboarding fees.
Okay. And they also having the license fees also in spite of these two pieces.
This license fee is basically one-time onboarding fee, because
One
they
time
have to
onboarding.
onboard your, yeah, they have to create your users, they have to onboard your company on their portal. So this license is a part of one-time onboarding fee.
One time onboarding.
But the annual recurring cost, annual the document is a recurring cost. Every
Okay.
year, based on your document, you
Yes,
have
as per
to
your
get this.
invoices, number of invoices. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. The next question is: are B2C sales, export and free zones in businesses covered? Do we need invoices for sales to individual consumer?
Okay, so the question is, as of now, in the scope I also explained earlier, so the revenue threshold is your total revenue as per the financial statement, but for the e-invoicing, only B2B, if you're selling, issuing invoice to a business or a government, only those invoices will also go for e-invoicing. If you are in a retail business or you are having some direct sale to the individual or human beings, so those invoices are not required to go for the invoicing. So as of now, only B2B and B2G invoices will go through the e-invoicing. B2C is not part of invoicing. And also, there's no distinction between free zone on a mainland. If you're a free zone company and you're dealing with B2B and B2G, you have to go for the invoicing. From invoicing perspective, there's no distinction between mainland and free zone. The only distinction is the sale to whom you're selling, whether you're selling to B2B, B2G, or B2C.
Okay,
So
Mr.
even
Kamran, thank you very much. I think that our time is going to on finish now. So next of the questions we see in the next session. So and we will add in more questions with this sessions. Okay, so because we have the time for 30 minutes, so I don't want to exceed the times. So rest of the
sure,
questions, inshallah, we will discuss. And this regarding this B2C, I just want to say that maybe in the phase 3 or phase 4, maybe the government think that we have to involve B2C also in investing. For the time being, I think that only B2B is enough. So thank you very much, Mr. Kamran. If somebody having
thank
any
you very
questions, you can
much.
ask the questions. Then we will conclude this meeting. And next time we will answer the rest of the questions. If somebody having the questions, you can ask.
Yeah. So I just have one question regarding free zone.
Yes, Karan.
So for e-invoicing purpose, there is this transaction scenario, right? There are 8 transactions, right? Free zone, deemed supply, exports, blah blah blah. So this free zone is not a designated zone, right? For e-invoicing
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah. So designated zone is only for the VAT purposes. For the e-invoicing, there, okay, when you have issue invoice, there this rate is already identified by the government. So if you are a fusion company and you're doing from, so you have to, the transaction type will be free trade zone. It's not, it include designated and non-designated zone. So for e-invoicing perspective, they have not specifically identified the designated zone. The designated zone is only for the VAT law, as per the VAT law. For the invoicing, all the free zones are part of, or they are required to issue invoicing for their activities. So for invoicing is all the free zone, whether designated or non-designated, they are in the scope of invoicing. They have to issue invoice, and the transaction they have to select, and issuing the invoice, they have to select their type as free trade zone supply.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kamran.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all the participants to join us, and we will happy to see you in the next even next section. So next session we will plan after 1 or 2 weeks, and we will continue the rest of the questions and answers, and we will add more questions and answers. Please share your answers, questions to us so we can increase our slides and we can happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining this one. See you inshallah
Thank you
next
very
time.
much. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.